Hey, everybody, welcome to the DBC Inc. Facebook Live for Thursday. And we are super glad that you are joining us. And be sure, as you are joining in, to throw your name over in the comments. Let us know where you are watching from. And as always, everyone who puts their name in the comments, who enters a comment, will be entered to win a free DBC Inc. book. So you'll be able to select a choice of a DBC Inc. book. We'll ship it out to you for free. And so make sure you get that over there into the comments. And I have a special guest here with me tonight, all the way from Winnipeg, Canada, Annick Rauch. Annick, how are you doing tonight?
I'm good. Long time no see. How are you?
Long time no see, like maybe just like a few days, something like that, right?
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. And so before we get talking about what it is that we were doing this past weekend, maybe Annick, if you'll let us know what it is that you do in Winnipeg.
Sure. I am a first grade French immersion teacher, classroom teacher. And yeah, that's what I've been doing for a while.
Okay, awesome. And we have Kristen, comment number one. How could we ever have predicted that? Good to see you, Kristen. Thanks for joining us. Glad that you're here. And so Ryan Reed, hey Ryan, good to see you too. Thanks for popping in and joining us. So even though Annick is in Winnipeg and I am in San Diego, we had an opportunity to spend several days together with a whole bunch of amazing people in Ohio at the Teach Better 22 conference. And so I thought maybe we would chat a little about Teach Better 22 and then also chat about what we did immediately following Teach Better 22, which was also pretty awesome. And so we went to Akron, Ohio, and had a chance to, DBC had a booth there, an exhibit room, and over 10 of our authors, I'm not sure the exact count, but there was multiple double figures, over 10 of our authors had sessions at Teach Better. And so we had their books on display there at the conference and just kind of there to support them and kind of create a family atmosphere. And it was amazing. I got to meet several people for the first time. I got to meet Don Harris for the first time. Let's see, I got to meet Jennifer Costa Todd for the first time, and multiple others. I'll think of them as we come. Most of the authors I'd met before, but there were a few first timers. So that was super cool. So Annick, what's your like initial impression of your weekend at Teach Better?
I kind of forgot how it was because this was my first conference since before COVID. So it'd been a long time since I was like in a room filled with all of these amazing people. And like, I'm super, super lucky that I work in a school where I am surrounded by amazing educators. But like just being in that conference atmosphere again, where like, especially the DBC family, like there's nothing quite like it. Like I'm not an author and I still felt like I was part of you guys, and like everybody was so friendly and like taking me under their wing a little bit, and just like being with these like-minded people that are super inspiring is just like, I can't describe it.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, and Sean, thanks for popping in and joining us as well. And so you are a member of the DBC family. We have our extended PLF, our professional learning family, and all the people that we're connected with. We consider you all family, and so it was great to see you there. And it's just so fun. You're right. It's so fun to be back in a face-to-face setting with people, to be in that same space and to feed off each other's energy and just be kind of uplifted together. And so that was really cool. I got to step into many different sessions over the course of the couple days, and I know that I saw you in some of those sessions, and so I'm hoping maybe, did you feel like you got some good takeaways and learned some stuff over the couple days?
I did. So I think that what was also awesome for me is like everybody that I was talking to, they're like, oh, when do you present? When do you present? And everybody was looking at their schedules and trying to figure out like when they were speaking and whose sessions they could go to. And it was super stress-free for me because I was not presenting. So I just got to go to everybody's sessions. And some I went more so because like I love the people and I wanted to support them and learn from them. And other sessions I kind of went more based on like my role and what it is that I was after. So there was a good mix of all of the things, like practical, inspirational, and like same as you, there's many people there that I had never met face to face. So it was even better. Like Dawn, oh my God, what a sweetheart. Like she was just next level awesome. I loved her session. Jen's was shorter, but still super awesome. I really liked Mandy too. I'm going to mess up her last name. Help me
Freilich?
out. Yeah, I
Mandy
loved
Fred,
her
yeah.
session too. So I don't know. It was a very good mix of all of the things.
Yeah, I agree. And I had a little bit of that same experience because I'm used to going to these conferences and having to kind of be on stage and to do the sessions and all that. And I had no sessions either. I just got to hang out at the table and go see whatever session I wanted to pop into. I didn't get a chance to see all the ones that I wanted to. There were so many amazing people that were speaking. I feel like I needed to like have a clone to be able to get to all of them, but I tried to pop into as many as I could. And it was just a pleasure. Again, even some of the authors who I've met before, I haven't seen them present before. And so I got a chance to see many people present for the first time. And then not just the DBC people, but there's just a great number of educators of all type, all from all sort of extended families there. And it was good to connect with them as well. And as is always the case at these conferences, it's not just about the sessions. There were some great social events that went on in the evening. And again, sometimes I need that time to decompress if I'm speaking all day, but I wasn't speaking all day. So I got to go out and hang out and just kind of be at these places and talk to people. And so that was fun too. Did you enjoy the social events?
I did. I have to say though, that like when I go on trips like this and conferences, it is like my escape from my chaotic life. If anybody does not know, I am a very, very, very busy mom of 4 boys who are all in hockey and volleyball and all of the things. And so going to a conference like this often is like my time to sleep alone in a hotel room or with a friend. If my best friend comes with me, this time I was alone. So alone in my hotel room, no husband, no dog in my bed. And so I found it a little bit hard to like be up so late and then wake up early to go and set up the table, the DBC table, because thankfully you were my ride. You were driving me, so I had no choice but to go nice and early. But definitely those first few nights, I was kind of knocked out. Like I was tired. I'm not used to being on for that many hours a day. I'm used to a lot more sleep than I'd been getting.
Yeah. And I hear that dog that sleeps in your bed in the background.
Yeah,
there,
sorry
but
about
yes.
that.
No, that's totally fine. We are, as you've seen from our Facebook lives, we are very dog friendly here at DBC Inc. So, and that reminds me, I see Tara has popped in the comments too. So good to see Tara. Thank you for joining us. Actually coming up real soon, we have another conference where we have a pretty high percentage of DBC authors, and that's Fall Q is going to be happening in California. And I know Tara is going to be out there, and many other of our authors are going to be there too. And so that's going to be exciting for people on the West Coast to get a chance to connect with everyone. And so we're excited about that. Mm-hmm. And Shauna, thanks for jumping in. I appreciate it. Good to see you in here. And so I have another question for you.
Yeah, shoot.
Mickey Smith Jr.
Oh my gosh.
Mickey
has my heart.
Yeah, so the keynote on day 2, all the keynotes were great, by the way. I'm not, so I don't mean to like single Mickey out, but I'm going to. Mm-hmm. Both of us, we chatted afterwards, super impressed with Mickey Smith Jr. He's kind of, I would say, I would put him on the very little known as far as out on the education circuit. But I think that's going to really change, and it's going to change fast because this guy knocked it out of the ballpark with his keynote. He's a music educator, a prolific saxophone player, and we wove music and playing the saxophone through the keynote, and super polished, super powerful message. What kind of impact did you feel from hearing Mickey speak?
Yeah. So like, it's funny that you bring it up because I was talking to colleagues about the conference, and of course, Mickey came up, and like, it's one of those things kind of like, although I technically haven't seen you keynote yet, I've seen your sessions, but when you try to describe your session or Mickey's keynote, I felt like I couldn't do it justice. Like there's no explaining how he made me feel, how like he made me laugh, he made me cry, he inspired me beyond belief. Like his message was hard hitting. It was just, and one thing that I truly appreciated about his keynote is that finally there was something that wasn't like pandemic driven, that was like addressing the trauma that we've all been through, or addressing the hardships and how we've overcome it, and like we're tired but here we go. Like it was none of that. It was just like all of the good things that we should focus on, and how we are all worthy of like finding our sound and sharing our voice and keep on going on. And like, yeah, I was moved, and it was phenomenal. I can't do it justice.
Yeah, agreed. I'm just kind of speechless as well. So Amy, thank you for popping in and joining us. Appreciate seeing you here. And Vicky, who we just saw at Teach Better and had a wonderful session there and got a chance to chat with her a couple times. And so Vicky, it's good to see you in here. Yeah, and so I will say that I am, so a tough audience for keynotes are other keynotes, right?
Right.
And so I'm a keynote speaker. And so like, I can be tough on keynotes sometimes. And I've seen so many now because I travel to so many conferences that maybe I'm jaded sometimes by the keynote addresses. And I can honestly say that was not the case this time. Like I told him, I came up to him afterwards and just said like, hey, just so you know, like I do this for a living. And like, you knocked my socks off. Like that was amazing. That was really good. And so, yeah, I give him my stamp of approval. And like I said, a lot of you probably have not seen him speak or heard of him, but he's an up and comer. Keep your eyes out for him, because once the word gets out about this guy, he's going to be booked everywhere. So that was super fun.
I'm glad that you told him that, because that must be like a super high compliment for him. And yeah, since that conference, I'm now following him on Twitter and on Instagram. And so I'm just going to keep being inspired by this guy. Phenomenal.
Yeah, it was fun to see. And I noticed, so we had Dennis Sheeran was there, one of our authors of Instant Relevance. And Dennis is a musician, high level saxophone player, and plays. And he brought his instrument and had Mickey sign his reed of his instrument. So, which I thought was really cool.
Did he bring it because he knew that Mickey was going to be there, or did he just happen to have it with him?
No, I think he knew he was going to be there.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah, and had him sign his reed. And so he has, I think that's, maybe that's a musician thing to get your reed signed, because he's mentioned he had reeds signed by other musicians as well. And so I thought that was pretty cool. Like I'm a magician. I have playing cards signed by all kinds of famous magicians and stuff like that. So I guess if you're a musician, you get your reed signed. And Monica's popped in here. Monica, good to see you, my sketchnoting friend. So I'm glad that you're joining us as well. And so Teach Better, amazing, great people. We love the Teach Better family, and they did a great job pulling the conference off. And so I thought that all went really smooth. And then Annick, Tara, and Tisha Richmond and me jumped into a car on Saturday afternoon and drove to Columbus, Ohio, because we had to go get our race kits before they closed down, because we were going to try to run, emphasis on try, we're going to try to run the Columbus Half Marathon together on Sunday. So we were at Teach Better Friday, Saturday, hopped in the car, drove to Columbus, picked up our race kits, and woke up bright and early on Sunday morning and walked from our hotel to the starting line of the Columbus Half Marathon, and got to experience that together. And so Annick, what were your thoughts about the chance to add that to your trip from Winnipeg?
So you said try to run a half marathon. I had zero doubts. I knew that I was going to be successful. I knew that Tara was going to be successful. I knew that Tisha was going to be successful. She'd run them before. But to be honest, I was a little bit worried about you.
Rightly so.
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure that like you were very adamant that you did not want to train for a half marathon, and that you just wanted to keep doing what you've been doing. And I was trying to be a supportive friend, and I'm like, you know what, Dave, like you do you, and we'll get you to the end. But I was worried that we were not going to get you to the end, or that we would get you to the end injured. And Yeah, but how that added that was just the perfect combination for me of like business and pleasure, like go to learn, but then go to have fun at the same time. And I know people are probably like, how is running a half marathon fun? But I promise you it is if if you are a runner or if you're interested in becoming a runner and train for it. But yeah, it was such a fun experience. I love running with friends. I love chatting as we're running. And so this was just something that I was really looking forward to. And I was so glad to experience it with you three.
Yeah, it was fantastic. So for spoiler alert, all four of us finished. And we ran it with 11,500 of our closest friends. And so it was a big, massive event. And Annick, I know you've run half marathons before, but I think you said by far this was the biggest of all of them that you've been in.
Yeah. And so I started running a little bit more seriously through the pandemic for my mental health. That's something we could talk about with our team name there that came up. But because I started running through the pandemic, I had run half marathons before, but I'd only run one that was in person. So I did 2 virtuals, and then I did my last one, which was in May last year, or no, earlier this year, was my first in person. But of course, it being in Winnipeg, it was nothing compared to the magnitude of this one in Columbus. So it was super cool to be part of, like you said, 11,500 of our closest friends, like just runners everywhere, all shapes, all sizes, all pacers, like fast, slow, everything in between. And yeah, just to be a part of that, just like kind of like a teach better, like you just get goosies because you're surrounded by all these amazing people.
Yeah, even just on the walk from the hotel to the event, we got to make some great connections and talk to people. And I mentioned on the Instagram Live with Tara the other day, I'm walking next to this woman, and probably I don't want to guess her age just in case she's watching, but like I have a prediction. But anyway, she's talking to me about going to the half marathon. I'm like, yeah, this is my first time. And she says, oh, that's fantastic. She's congratulating me and wishing me luck and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, how many have you run? This was her 68th half marathon. So here I am, a first timer walking in this group, and I'm talking to this woman who has done it 68. This was going to be her 68th time. I talked to a marathoner who was going for a time that the time he was shooting for was very similar for the full marathon for what we were shooting for the half marathon, but that's okay. And he was asking me my name, found out I was a first time runner, asking me my name because he wanted to check and see if I had finished at the end of it. I got his name. I checked his time at the end. And so these are just connections made walking up there. And it's so cool. Same way I feel about a conference is you meet new people who are interested and involved in the same things that you're involved in, excited about the same stuff that you're excited about. And it's just so easy to make those connections.
And so like the first people to encourage you, right? Like no matter where you are on this journey. And that's the same, I feel, especially with running. Like when we were on our little shakeout run a couple of days before the race, like Dave, Tara, and Tisha and I went on a little 3-mile shakeout run. And Tisha was all worried because she's like, well, we're going to have to run my pace. Like I'm slow compared to you guys. And I was like, that has nothing to do with it. Like we are this running community. It doesn't matter where you are, how fast you are, how slow you are, how far you run. Like we will support you no matter what it is that you're doing. And like, I feel like that's exactly what you're saying, especially walking to that half marathon. And you had a marathon runner with who you were walking, and he is saying, well, I'm probably going to like lap you. And it doesn't matter. Like there's no competition about it. It's all just supportive and making you reach your goals.
Yeah, it was so interesting because I felt like he was basically almost more excited for me running my first half than he was for trying to set his PR.
Mm-hmm.
And again, and I'm going to be about half. I mean, literally, I'm going to be finishing my half, maybe a little bit ahead of his full. And he's still like, I'm going to check your time. I want to like see if you finished and what's your name and like all that kind of stuff. It was really cool. And Sean popped in there, says getting out for walks and runs during the pandemic was literally life-changing. So true. Yeah. And that's actually our team name was Team Riot 22. And the Riot stood for Running is Our Therapy. And I think Tara put that together for our Voxer group for us. But yeah, and so running is our therapy. So when you see Team Riot, that's what the riot is about. We're not causing a ruckus out there, although maybe we were, but it's running is our therapy. So I'll tell you another thing that I found really cool about the half, and is the vast number of people who are not running, but get up early on a Sunday morning to line the sides and the roads and the corners and to man the drink stations, but then also just out there with their families, sometimes with their small children, just to cheer you on as you go by. Strangers, sometimes you go out there with signs for a particular runner, but a lot of people, they're just out there cheering on everyone who comes by, and they've created all these cool signs that are kind of fun to read as you go down the line. And I just was thinking about how that felt to run by some of those groups and how it kind of lifts you up when you're in those dark moments of the race and maybe things aren't feeling perfect, but here's a whole group that's cheering you on and kind of pointing to you, look, you look awesome, like all this kind of stuff like that. And just how uplifting that is. And thinking about that as an educator, how, people that do that with us and what we can do with our students can really get us across the finish line with our kids too.
Right. I feel like it has so much to do with like feeling valued, feeling seen, feeling encouraged. Like there's so much more that you can do when you've got the support of those around you, even when it's perfect strangers. Like those signs were the best. Like there's something about reading like "My granny is faster than you" that gets your butt moving. You're right. Your granny probably is faster than me. She's probably like a mile ahead of me.
Yeah.
There's lots of good signs.
When you're on mile 10 and things are getting hard and you see that sign that says "Smile, you paid for this."
Yeah, exactly.
Right. One of my, I think there was lots of funny signs, some of them different levels of appropriateness, right? But
Yeah.
I think one of my favorite is the woman and I saw her going out in the background too. And she was holding up a sign that said, "You're my favorite runner."
Yes.
And I'm just like going by, look, oh yeah, look, like this. And she's like, "Yes, you. But so now I got a kick out of seeing that sign.
Yeah, totally. It's so good.
Yeah.
I have to say that, like for me, this was kind of a new experience. The person who got me into running was my next door neighbor, who's I call him a little bit crazy. He runs a lot more than me. Like he just finished a 50K ultra. And anyhow, I remember when I started training, I would feel guilty when he had an easy run that he would run with me, and I felt bad. I'm like, oh, Eric, like I'm slowing you down. I felt like Tisha experienced this weekend. And for me, like the roles were reversed, because this weekend I felt like I was more in the coach, like I was more wearing the coach hat, and I got to experience what my coach experienced getting me trained and ready for a half. And that experience was super special to me. And like you said, when you were talking to that guy who is maybe more excited about you finishing your first half marathon than him getting a PR for a full marathon, that's kind of how I felt. Like this was by far my slowest half marathon, but it was maybe my most proud or like joyous half marathon, because I got to bring you two to the finish line and share that moment with you and encourage you and remind you to take your walk breaks and to fuel up and to have your water. And like it just goes to show how like sometimes we feel guilty accepting help or encouragement, but like if you do that, and like you're robbing people of that opportunity to do that, because it brings them just as much joy and pride. If that makes sense.
Absolutely. And by the way, David, thanks for popping in here. He says that we're running goals. Yeah. So the way that it went, by the way, for us, so there were 4 of us that went and did it. And we knew from the training runs that Tara was going to take off and run faster than what our group did. And that is indeed what happened. And so Tara was out the gate and went off. And then Annick, Tisha, and me, all 3 of us ran the entire half marathon together, which was very cool. We weren't sure that was going to happen, but it did happen. And Annick did very much play that coach role. She was the one in charge of the watch and the timing and the intervals and all these kind of things like this. And like, hey, okay, fuel time, and making sure that we're fueling at the correct times, all that kind of stuff. So it was awesome for you to be able to bring your experience and slow down for us a little bit, but lead us across the finish line, stay with us. And Annick has a sub-2 half marathon PR, well under 2. And this time it was well over 2, but that was because she was pacing us and getting us through. And so we appreciate you doing that for us.
Like I said, my pleasure. It was really a joy. And so I know that Tara has her heart set on a sub-2 half marathon. So maybe next time, Team Riot 23, I'll be running with her to get her a sub-2 PR if she doesn't get it first.
Yeah, she might get it in a couple weeks.
Exactly, she probably will.
If she runs in Kansas.
Yeah.
So and then the only sad part for Tara was I don't think that she might have running alone at all. That didn't bother her. But after she finished, then she had to wait for us.
She did.
at the finish line. And that was a little bit of a reasonably long wait for us to get there. But we got there, and then we got our pictures. And oh, by the way, I thought maybe I would show, I don't know what this is, but what? Oh my goodness.
Love it. You should have told me. I would have brought mine too.
Yeah. And so I will tell you a sad story from the half marathon. And that is when it was time to do the Instagram live with Tara. Tara's like, I'm going to wear my shirt. Go get your shirt on. And so I'm like, okay. And I went into my suitcase and all my bags and the laundry, and I left my shirt in the hotel. So I lost my half marathon shirt on the very weekend that I got it. And so I do not have a Columbus half marathon shirt, and I'm very upset about that. But I do have this. So
maybe you could just walk around wearing your medal for a while.
There you go. Don't think that I don't do that at the house.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am wearing my shirt. I did bring mine back, thankfully. I've got a few run shirts now, so maybe if you could fit into mine, I would send you mine, but not sure.
Yeah. So somewhere in my hotel room is a Columbus half marathon. Well, actually, it's probably not there now, but that's where it is. So I've lost my shirt. Dang it. So upset about that, but that's all right.
Rightfully so. I would be upset too, especially your first. Like, that is a pretty big deal.
Yeah. If you are thinking about a half marathon, by the way, I would say Columbus was a fantastic one. First of all, it's very flat. So there's a little bit of there's a couple hundred feet of elevation gain over the 13.1 miles, but it's all very gradual. You never feel like you're really doing a hill. So it's an extraordinarily flat half marathon. It's also a beautiful run. It's a good time of the year. The weather was amazing, but you're running through kind of some historic areas of Columbus, beautiful churches, like the architecture of the churches and all, like gorgeous old churches, some streets with like fantastic houses, past parks, I thought the course was gorgeous, and the weather could have been better. So did you enjoy the streets of Columbus?
Yeah, it was beautiful. And I think that especially because we were running so slow and easy and conversational pace, like we really did get to take that in. It wasn't like I had my head down and was focusing on my breathing. Which interestingly enough, Tara kind of shared in the live yesterday that was more her, like she was in the zone. So she kind of missed a lot of that because she was focusing on her running. So I'm glad that we were able to kind of be tourists while we were running a half marathon and take that in.
Yeah, we were just chatting it up the whole way, talking about stuff, talking about people that we saw on the side and reading, like talking about pointing signs out to each other. And I will say it was maybe a little bit of an interesting decision. And I'm gonna go ahead. I'll go ahead and blame Tara for this one, but Tara is a little bit of an Energizer bunny, and so after running the 13.1 miles and after walking back to our hotel and showering up, somehow our little Team Riot 22 decided maybe it was a good idea to do like pretty much basically an hour back and forth walk to lunch. So after running a half marathon, and I'm thinking like, I just want to get off my feet. Like we walked like 30 minutes to lunch, ate lunch, and then walked 30 minutes back. And then for dinner, I said, this is going to be an Uber situation.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. Like I said, because this was such an easy run for me, I was not sore at all. But I'm wondering if maybe that extra walk helped us instead of hindered us. Like, had I not walked to lunch that day and then walked back, maybe I would have been sore. Maybe that was a good way to kind of get the blood flowing, legs moving again in the more like easier kind of way, a restful way, as opposed to just sitting there and letting our legs kind of tense up and cramp up.
Yeah,
Don't know.
maybe so. Well, I feel a passion for kindness come over me in the chat. So Tamara, good to see you. Tamara has popped in. Good to see you. Yeah. So we walked to a little marketplace, and there was a place that Tara really wanted to go back to for fried chicken. And it's a place that gives kind of opportunities for people who are coming out of prison, out of the prison system, to work there. And I want to say, is it takeaway chicken? Is that what it was called?
I think so, yeah.
Tara, I don't know if that's not right, put it in, Tara, but I think it's called takeaway chicken. And it's on the second floor of the market there. And the market is wonderful. It's got all, there's probably 20 places to eat at least inside of there. I saw at least 10 places in there that I could have eaten. And in fact, we went back the second day for lunch and ate there too. And I got barbecue on the second day. And on both days, went and had some Ginny's ice cream. And so with a nice waffle cone. And I had earned the calories the day before with the half marathon. So yeah.
I love that. I love that. Like, we were planning things out. Like, you all wanted ice cream. I really wanted a Slurpee, which I didn't end up getting, but that's okay.
So Team Riot 23, we have to have a full commitment to getting you your post-race Slurpee.
Yeah, although it's fine because it was a little bit chilly. The weather was perfect for running, but afterwards it was a little bit chilly for Slurpee.
Yeah. So all in all, though, I mean, what a fantastic few days. So we arrived on Thursday. Yeah. Social event right as soon as we got there. It's kind of a kickoff to the Teach Better conference. Wonderful conference on Friday and Saturday. So good to see our education family and connect face to face. And got 2 days of that, and then also got another 2 days tied into the Columbus Half Marathon. And so those were 4 days that were definitely like lifted my spirits, and it was good for me. And indeed, that weekend was therapy. So it was so nice to spend that time with you, with Tara, with Tisha, and with everyone else that was there. It was just that face-to-face interaction with people that I love was fantastic.
So I have a question for you then. I know that you were heading into this half marathon thinking, I just don't want to get injured, but you really never had a desire to run a half marathon. So I am wondering, will it happen again? Or is it a one and done?
I think that it's going to happen again. And so I only had one problem. I am 100% perfectly fine even the day after the half marathon, with one exception, and that is I kind of my lower right leg below my knee, not my knee, but below my knee, my lower leg kind of broke down a little bit towards the end, and that was pretty painful the last couple miles. And so if I can get that pulled back together and start running again, start training again, I thought it was really fun, and I look forward to picking out a place to do it in 2023 too.
Awesome. That's what I want to hear. That's great. And hopefully others will join us. Like, this is not just an exclusive thing. Wendy was supposed to join us and then had to back out. So hopefully by Team Riot 23, we've got more than 4 of us running.
Absolutely. Yeah, we would love to have lots of people come join us and run with us. And Wendy it was her idea, by the way. Yeah. And she's the one that convinced us to sign up and to go for it, to do it. And then she's like, oh, and by the way, I'm not coming after we all signed up. So, but she had some stuff come up, and that was unfortunate. And so we did miss her, but we definitely hope that she'll join us in 2023. And I don't know, maybe we'll get some of you, maybe we'll convince some of you to join us as well. And again, doesn't matter what your speed is. We got rabbits that run out fast and people that run nice conversationally. And some
people walk it all.
Yeah. And we did intervals. We did like a run walk interval, and even Tara did a run walk interval as well. And so whatever it is, the level that you're at is totally fine. It's just about being around people that are excited about doing something. And as Glennon Doyle said, we can do hard things.
You sure can.
Sure enough, we did hard things and it all came out well. And so that was fun. We want to thank all of you for joining us in the chat. We appreciate you being here. Sorry that we were a little less education focused than usual, but we're excited. We were excited about talking about this conference and about this half marathon. And so we hope that you enjoyed it. Again, we always appreciate you taking some of your time on a Thursday night to pop into our Facebook Live. And we will be back again next week. And Annick, I would like to thank you, first of all, for coming all the way from Winnipeg for the conference and for the race. Secondly, for helping Tisha and me get across the finish line with great coaching and support. And then for joining me in the live as well.
My pleasure on all of the above. Love it all.
All right, everybody. Good night.
Bye, guys.